All of us reach a point in time where we are depleted and need to somehow find a way to reignite the fire within. But how do we spark that flame? Welcome to Reignite Resilience, where we will venture into the heart of the human spirit. We'll discuss the art of reigniting our passion and strategies to stoke our enthusiasm. And now, here are your hosts, Natalie Davis and Pamela Cass.
Absolutely. And John, what do you envision when you bring this body of work into corporate America? Because I love the transformation that we're seeing in corporate America. Historically, traditionally, you wouldn't see this type of work introduced, right? It's go to work, set your goals, meet the goals, set the new goal, right? It's very much driven by task. And there's this understanding now that we are people and we are in this human resource business, regardless of product, service, or business that you're in. What do you envision? What would you like to see bringing this work into the corporate space?
Man, no one has ever asked me that question before, so I'm winging it here. That's an excellent question.
Great. And I'm the
Okay.
touchy-feely, emotional, get in touch, as if you can see between the two of us, I'm
Yeah.
that one.
Well, let's go there. Let's go there. I'm gonna throw some ideas out there that any one of which could be expanded upon. But let's start with just mindfulness. We spend most of our time regretting the past and worrying about the future, and we're no good in the moment. So I would like to see corporations allow their workers to have a life, to regenerate, to rejuvenate, and to realize that it's okay to have a family and to actually spend time with it, to take care of yourself. So that's number one. Um, I think a good, wise corporation is going to foster good relationships within the organization. Um, I think that I'd like to see, and I'm just making this up, but I think you've tapped into something. I'd like to see instead of older workers, shunted aside because they're old, although they'll never say that. I'd like to see older workers teamed up with younger workers so that both people can learn. There's tremendous institutional wisdom that is there. And yet, young people have tremendous acumen when it comes to social media and all kinds of things like that. There can really be some cross-pollination that can be advantageous for a corporation. Those are two things. How am I doing so far?
That's perfect. I think that's great. I think any leader of a company needs to take that into consideration because especially the latter.
The mentoring kind of.
Absolutely. You take that institutional knowledge and kind of that innovative spirit that this younger generation brings to the workforce.
And mentoring goes both ways. It needs to go both ways,
Yes.
Absolutely.
And I mean, at CNN, I mean, I was surrounded by young women in their early to mid 20s. And I think one reason I'm able to write as a woman is that they would let me ask them questions about what's it like to be a woman. I mean, there was one anchor I worked with, she was gorgeous. And I said, what's it like for guys to come on to you all the time?
Yeah.
And she said, I can tell in the first 20 seconds if I'm safe. I never have to worry about being safe in a conversation.
So true.
And that's when I realized that being a woman, at least in part, means playing defense.
Yes.
All the time.
Yeah. And then I also heard stories about, meetings where one of my friends was in a meeting and she spoke up and gave an idea, dead silence. Two people down, some guy said almost word for word the same thing. Everybody's going, great idea. Does that ever happen to you guys?
100%.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
Yes.
Wow.
I mean, you talk about it and it just speaks to the resiliency that women have, especially if you're going to enter into that competitive space of a work environment, corporate, or, even as entrepreneurs, we shared that we're serial entrepreneurs. And I think that makes it even more challenging because you don't have the backing of a big brand. It is you as yourself.
So I'm going to turn the tables. Tell me, give me a sense of what it was that allowed you to have that resiliency, to be able to succeed in quote unquote a man's world. Is there a secret? First, you, Natalie.
I would love to. I think my formula is a little bit different than most because I actually pin this back to my birthplace and my upbringing. So I was actually not born in the US. And I think as an immigrant to the country, you have a
From
different perspective. And I feel like a higher level of appreciation and level of being locked into opportunity because for my home country,
which is what? Where are you from?
Jamaica, born in
Okay.
Jamaica.
All right.
Opportunity was not in abundance, and it's still not a place where opportunity is in abundance. And so, immigrating to the United States, it was called and coined the land of opportunity. So I see this as, nothing can stand in my way because I'm already here.
Yeah, but
And
when you got here,
yeah,
don't tell me it was just smooth sailing.
rainbows and daisies? Absolutely not, John. It was
Butterflies.
not.
Yeah.
I the first memory that I have, and you'll because you were in the journalism world, you'll probably be able to relate to this. The very first memory that I have, 4 years old in preschool, getting teased and made fun of. Two things: race. I was the only person of color in the preschool, and number two, my accent. And so one
Mm.
thing I had control over was how was I going to speak moving forward. And so throughout the years, people have always had a hard time understanding where I was from. And I grew up in Texas. And so this is my Texas accent.
Yeah,
And
right.
so they would say, like, you've got this non-regional dialect. I said,
Right.
that's exactly right.
Did you have
As
to
much,
really work on that?
yes, 100%.
How did you do that?
I think it was assimilation initially, and then realizing the stereotypes that existed with the Texas drawl
Mm.
that existed through mainstream media. I grew up in the 80s and 90s. I watched television. So seeing those stereotypes and what people thought of how people spoke adjusted that. And then I got a communication degree. And, I mean, it's just a space that I'm in and constantly top of mind. But if I'm able to, now I'm going to say this, and I love how you took the tables and you turned them on us, but
Yeah.
it's something that I'm
Pam, you're
working on
next. You're
because
Oh,
next,
great,
Pam.
great.
yeah, it is something that I'm working on because I don't love the fact that I had to shed parts of me, John, to quote unquote fit into
Sure.
society. And that's the crossroads that I'm at now.
Mm.
In what way?
Um, I we talked about this on one of our prior episodes, I think the very first season, is that there's a challenge in like authentically showing up as I am because I'm not sure if I'm going to be accepted for that. And I don't have a problem adjusting or shifting to whom I need to be in order to be in that space. And at this age and this season of life, that's no more.
You're being a little vague there, ma'am.
Oh, yeah. Well, here's the thing. I've become very clear on the things that bring me joy, the things that fill my bucket. Um, 20 years ago, 10, 15 years ago, I would say yes to any opportunity that came before me. I'm very intentional now to create those opportunities that I want or say yes to those that specifically align with who I am and my values. Had you asked the 20-year-old version of me, I would have said yes to absolutely anything because I was, again, seeking out all of the opportunities that existed. Now, that's not the case. I'm going to either create what I want or say yes to what aligns.
Right, because if I'm hearing you correctly, you are more in touch with what your values are, and you're more
Yes.
discerning, and you're more willing to speak up and take a stand.
100%.
And
100%.
one more quick question, and then I want to hear Pam. Um, Making it in a man's world, how difficult was that? Because obviously you don't seem damaged,
No.
and so, but it couldn't have been easy.
No. not at all. And I think in the space that I'm in, not just the fact of showing up as a woman, but a woman of color. You get kind of this double. I feel like it's a double whammy that you're or a double dose that you're carrying with you. Showing up in a man's world for me, I have just like your conversation that you had with the news reporter in terms of knowing like within moments if you're safe. That is programming that is always operating in the background. Not only safe, but I can quickly and in moments understand if the person that I'm having a conversation with or people that I'm having conversation with value what I'm saying or see that I can provide any type of value in that space. And as a result, because I'm no longer searching for everything, if I can pick up on that, I'm the person that has become the wallflower. I'm going to sit in the background. I'll observe, I'll witness, I'll contribute when needed, but I don't need to be at the forefront of it.
Mm.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Hmm. When I do have a quick follow-up. Sorry,
Yes.
Pam.
No, you're
I
fine.
haven't
Pam's like,
forgotten about
thank
you.
goodness.
You're
Yeah,
fine.
right.
Keep going. Keep going.
I just read James, the sort of the modern day version of Huckleberry Finn.
Mhm.
Mm.
And one of the things that I found fascinating was how, Jim, when he's talking with his people,
Yeah.
there's a certain way of talking. And then
Yes.
when you're in white society, it's in another way.
Mm.
And that I never really considered that before. Is that still the case in our society in 2025?
100% it is.
Is it
Yes.
really?
Modern day term that it's been coined is code switching, and it absolutely is still a thing. Yes.
And that's a survival thing,
A
really, I would
hundred
imagine.
percent.
Mhm.
Right.
100%. And
Phew.
and it's not taught anywhere, John. Like that's the crazy part is that it's just um
It is.
from a social group aspect, like an entire culture that understands this. It's like
Right.
that's
This is
a
why
way of life.
this is why a white guy can never write in the first person as an African American
Mhm.
because they just don't get it. They'll never
Yep.
get it.
Mhm.
And you can have African American um, characters
Characters. Yeah.
because so it's an observed behavior and everybody has
Mhm.
experienced that way. But getting immersing yourself in that life,
Yeah.
Yeah.
it's just so vastly different.
And
Thank
it's
you.
so complex. I think that's the thing is there's so much complexity to it because there's so many similarities and differences, but they all bring us back to the exact same
Yeah.
central nucleus, if that makes sense.
I mean, racism is baked into the DNA of this country. So,
Yes.
Mhm.
unlike what, they're trying to tell us, but, it's
Mhm.
slavery. There were no positives in slavery.
The positive
Sorry.
portion of it. Yes.
Yeah.
Gosh,
Sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I haven't followed that curiosity and I could try. I haven't carved that out yet.
Thank you. I'm learning a lot as we speak.
Absolutely.
So, all right, Pam, you're in the hot seat now. So, I'm interested in how you navigated, the man's world and, got the resilience you've got.
Yeah. I think to be honest, it goes back to um, dyslexia when you're diagnosed when you're 7. And it was in the 70s, and they knew about dyslexia, but the school, we were in a rural town out like 20 miles outside of Boston, and they didn't have programs for kids like me. So that meant I got pulled out of the classroom, pulled away from my peers. So I wasn't making friends. I wasn't doing, and then when I would go back into the classroom, well, why did she get to leave the classroom? And so a lot of that shame that you felt. And so I spent years just trying to be invisible. Like I didn't want people to notice me. And it was when my dad, when I was 13, imagine this, braces, awkward, junior high. My dad
Mhm.
was teaching a Dale Carnegie public speaking class and he signed me up for it. And
Wow.
so it was once a week in the evening after school. And I just remember the first day showing up, and it was at this hotel that had the high ceilings. And it's this room filled with adults that just got off of work that are all in their suits. And every week we had to share a story about our life. And I'm like, I have no life. I'm 13. Like, what am I going to share? And so it was over that period of those months of having to talk every week. And of course, these adults were sharing stories about suicides and mental health and health challenges and abortions and losing children and divorces. And here I am. I'm 13. I cut my lip on my braces the other, it was just like, what do I, so, but by the end of that and the encouragement and the support I got from those adults in that room just kind of gave me this boost of confidence. It didn't last very much, but what I learned through dyslexia was that I needed to work harder than everybody else to prove myself. And so my first line of career after college was the restaurant industry, and that is all male dominated. And I would start a job as a manager, and within 3 or 4 months, I was getting promoted to the general manager above the people that had been there for a long time that were substantially older, that who is she to come in here? But I just outworked them. And it wasn't because I was trying to outwork them, it's just like didn't know anything different. But I got a lot of anger and resentment towards other people in that industry when I was in it. And that was really hard. And then fast forward, on the executive team at a brokerage, same thing. I got promoted to a VP and I would be working 7 days a week trying to like make sure that I was worthy of being the vice president when I'd only been in a management position for a short amount of time.
And I would bet that there were probably whispers that, well, she slept her way to the top.
It probably, and luckily I didn't hear those, but I'm sure there were those because the vice president was a young guy, good-looking guy. But what got back to me was that the president of the company thought I was trying to take his job. And because of that, and I confronted him because I told him, I was like, that is not my intention, but I didn't share that I had dyslexia. I didn't say that, this is how I'm wired. And and I walked away. I walked away from that job because I got to a place where I just hit a wall of burnout. And I walked away from a six-figure job. I was a single mom. I had no idea how the hell I was going to support myself and went back into real estate after being out of it for 4 years, all giving away all my clients. And I started coaching and teaching and doing that stuff. And so it's like I've never known anything different. I will never go work for anyone ever again because I never want to feel like I have to prove myself.
At what point did you own publicly the dyslexia?
So I was asked to be speaking at our meetings every week at our company, and I was doing a presentation on the brain and how our brain can overcome things. And I literally did this whole presentation in that morning, and I was going to share that I had dyslexia. But then that morning I was like, I think I cured myself. I don't think I have dyslexia anymore. And I literally Googled it because it was before ChatGPT. I'm like, can you cure it? And it's like, nope. And so I literally had convinced myself because when we moved to Colorado when I was 10, and they did have more programs for kids with dyslexia. But when I got to high school, I did not want to be different. I didn't want to go into a different classroom. And then so I didn't. I was like, I will not be in this classroom. So I worked extra hard to get into the class, and I was on the honor roll my senior year. And then when I went to college, I could have somebody come to class with me, take all of my notes, and then I could take tests separately and have as much time as I needed to. I was like, there's no way I'm doing that because I don't want to be different. I just want to be like everybody else. But that meant I had to work my ass off to be able to keep up with everybody. So it's just my wiring now
And
is
did it take? I sense that you accept yourself now. How long did it take for that to happen?
I'm still working on that.
Oh, really?
But to be honest, the book that puts everything on the table. I mean, I shared everything,
Right.
about the feeling of being invisible and what that, what it was like to have dyslexia and stuff. So
Mhm.
now it's out there. Like everyone who reads it is going to know my story. So
Well,
I have fully accepted it because what I've realized is that it's a gift. So, and if we could look at it like that, if
uh-huh.
people could look at it like that instead of the shame,
Yeah.
uh, it could make a huge difference.
Well, are we having fun yet?
Yeah. How did this become? How did this do the big switcheroo?
No, this is well, I loved it, John, and I love the
Oh,
curiosity that you have about us.
yes.
But
Sure.
I'm assuming that this is the work that you're doing now. Like you are working with other writers, um,
Yeah.
aspiring authors and authors, I'm assuming.
Right.
Mhm.
And this is
Yep.
the work that you do to pull that story out of them. I'm assuming.
Well, I have a podcast as well. I started it in when COVID happened, and
Yeah.
I sort of realized, oh my God, there's Zoom and curiosity, and those two go together. I've got
Yeah.
friends that I want to, and people I want to get to know better.
Yeah.
I haven't been doing it lately. It's much more, it's not a regular thing. It's a whenever kind of
Yeah.
thing. But I
Mhm.
was interviewing a lot of authors, and
Yeah.
it really gave me an opportunity to dig deeply into, and I teach people interviewing techniques and stuff like
Yes.
that. So, I'm in the zone. This is me enjoying life.
Yeah.
I love
I
it.
love it. I love it. There's
I
a
mean, people,
line I
people,
would love to share from it's chapter 12, which is my favorite chapter. And it said, if you were to ask me back then what I really wanted, I would not have said love. I would have said perfection. And I was always, and I think still to I'm better now, but I was always seeking perfection. And,
sure,
and
yeah,
I think that's what's, yeah, carried me through.
okay,
That's it. Wow.
I know. This was
Amazing.
great.
Yes, this is
And
amazing.
I love the just being able to ask the questions and
Yeah.
doing the interviewing, John. Like you said, you're in the zone, and I think that that is definitely a skill. It's an art. Not many people have, but
it
when you're in
drives
this
my
space.
it drives my wife nuts.
Stop asking me
I
questions.
only get three questions with her.
Oh,
There was one day where I actually got six in, and
wow.
Yes.
yeah, she said I don't know what happened. I must have lapsed.
Well, so
Um,
that it's interesting because I flip it off. Like I turn it right off if I'm not here or if I'm not moderating a panel discussion or if I'm not doing a workshop, it flips right off. And sometimes it makes my oldest daughter a little wild because I will tell her a story and she'll ask for specifics and I'm like, I didn't ask those questions. I don't know. I don't I'm sharing what I know and that's
right.
it.
Oh, I love
So I turned it off. So I can understand your wife saying you have three and you've used your three for today. So call me tomorrow.
Yeah, she doesn't even go that far.
Yes. Well, John, tell us what you have in the works. What are you working on now, or what do you have coming up in terms of training and workshops and how you're working with writers? And if we have a listener that would love to work with you, what does that look like?
Well, let's see. All of the questions can be answered, and you can get to me through my website. I've
Perfect.
got a page there that talks about the public speaking that I do. There's another page that describes the books. Um, there's a page that talks about my upcoming events, which include a lot of online classes.
it.
And you can also get through to me by email if you go to my website, which is johndedakis.com, John, D as in dog, E, D as in dog, A, Kis as in Sam, johndedakis.com. Um, I've got a memoir that I'm shopping around. It basically the concept is the pivotal moments in my life that brought me to where I am.
Love
Uh,
it.
and uh, and there's been a lot of lessons along the way because I'm old. Um, let's see. I'm working on book 7, and my wife and I are actually working on it together, which we did for book 6.
Oh,
Book
wow.
6, my protagonist is a White House press secretary, pregnant, ambivalent about becoming a single mom. Abortion is a crime, and a dictator becomes president. It could never happen, but so
Mm-hmm.
there's that. And we basically wrote it together. She and I came up with the idea. I would write it, and then she was my alpha reader and got me out of a lot of jams. And so that worked pretty well. It got about 7 awards this year so far. And
Nice.
so we're doing that again. It's on the back burner at the moment because I'm expanding my business to speak at corporations and so on about writing as a way to heal. And what else? Well, I've got clients, coaching clients, manuscripts to edit. Um, yeah, I'm a busy guy,
Busy. You're
but you
busy.
know, you just take it one moment at a
You
time.
do. And when you love it all, it's like it doesn't feel like you're doing a lot.
That's right. That's exactly it. I mean, there are probably 7,000 unopened emails in my inbox, but most of them are junk, as far as I can tell.
That's it.
But yeah, I think there's something in scripture about let the day's own trouble be sufficient for the day, and
Yes.
so yeah,
Love it.
the days go fast.
Yes, they
Yes.
do. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it seems to be faster the older I get.
Yeah,
Yes.
running out of time.
Yeah, we're running
That's
out of
right.
time. So we got
That's
to get
right.
it done.
I
Got a
know
lot of lives to impact.
exactly.
I love it.
Love it.
And you're doing that, John. And all of your work complements each other so that I
Mm-hmm.
can see
It
how that
seems
comes
to be the
together.
case. Yeah,
Yes.
it's firing on all cylinders, is what it feels like.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And your
Beautiful.
experience putting the memoir together, the same in terms of writing experience as your fiction?
Yeah,
Or okay.
exactly the same in terms of
Mm-hmm.
early morning.
Yeah.
And Cindy is my wife was a little uncomfortable because it's like it's your story, not mine. And I
Yeah.
go, but yeah, but for 47 years you've been part of my story. And so she asked me to have her best friend read it first, sort of as
Oh,
the canary in the mine.
okay.
And
Yes.
Chris read it and gave me notes, and then I worked on it and then wanted to see it again. So
Mm.
actually, Chris read it twice and
Okay.
then said to Cindy, okay, it's ready
Now
for
you get
yeah, now it's the
it.
coast is clear. And so Cindy had her, and I'm going into way more detail than you care about, but she had a knee replaced, and so she had to do PT. And
Okay.
so while she was doing her exercises, she had me read the chapters out loud,
Oh,
and
I love
she's very
it.
good. She can pick up things and
Yeah.
was giving me good notes. And then when she entered the story, when we met, she
Mm.
goes, okay, I'll take it from here without you hovering. But I
Ah.
had to nudge. I had to keep going. How's that coming? How's
Yes.
that coming?
Yes. How you
It's
doing? Yeah. Oh, I love it.
But she signed off on it, and now we'll just have to wait and see. But the
Yeah,
process was pretty much the same. Dug more into my old journals. I didn't have to make stuff up this time.
that
Yeah.
makes sense. Yep,
Yeah.
Love
absolutely. Pulling from your experiences, right? You're not
it.
creating anything. Here's what I
There it
experienced.
is.
Let's put
Well,
it
and
in
and the
print.
hardest thing is cutting because you have to kind of be very judicious about what's important and what's not, and most of it's not.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And when it's your story, well, it's everything's important.
all
Yeah.
of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, no, it's not.
Oh,
Well,
love it.
congratulations on the memoir.
Yes.
I'm gonna have to get my hands on it because what you've shared with us so far has just been
Yes.
amazing in terms of your
Thank you.
life journey and your life work,
Mhm.
and what you've done. So I'm sure that the memoir will not disappoint. I'm excited to see that.
Thank you. Well, we have to get it published first. So,
Yes. Yeah.
don't
Once it's
hold your breath.
published.
I
Hmm.
I'm gonna keep an eye out for it. I have no
Yes.
concern.
Yeah.
I'm
Yes.
not worried at all, but
Well,
It
and
will
I'm
be.
not the
I know
author.
how to find you guys. Maybe you'll let me come back and talk about it.
We would love it if
Absolutely.
you did.
Thank you.
Yes.
We would love
Let's
that.
do that. I would love that. We're gonna
Yeah.
make that happen. So you just let us know as soon as it's published. We'll connect and we'll
Thank
get you
you.
back on the show. I
All
think our
right.
listeners would
It's a
really enjoy
deal.
it.
Well,
Love
this is fun. I mean, people ask me, who's the most interesting person you've ever interviewed? Usually it's the last person I've talked to.
it.
I
Hmm.
mean, I consider, yes, you guys are the most interesting people I've talked to because you're the most recent ones. And I
Perfect.
consider it a good day if I've been able to go deep with someone.
Yeah.
And this is a doubly good day.
Yeah. This
I
is
agree.
amazing.
I love that. Thank you, John.
You're
And what I
welcome.
heard is that I'm more interesting than Alfred Hitchcock. So thank you.
You
I will
are.
take
You
that.
totally are. Totally.
Oh, yes.
Because he's dead. So there.
Way more interesting.
Way
Right.
more. John, this has been an absolute honor. Thank you. Thank you for gracing us and joining us on the show today. And thank you for allowing us to share our stories as well, like turning the tables. It only happens every so often. And it's for those interviewers that know what they're doing. So I'm grateful that we had the opportunity to share our stories with our listeners as well. A little bit more about us.
Well, you're welcome. And thank you. This has been a treat.
Fabulous. Oh my goodness. We will make sure that we put all of your contact information and your website in the show notes so our listeners can get a hold of you and connect with you if they so wish. Great. And then for our listeners, you all know the spiel. If you are wanting to know what's happening in the world of Reignite Resilience, head on over to reigniteresilience.com and don't forget to pick up a copy of the book when you have a moment. Until next time, we'll see y'all soon.
Bye, everyone.
Thank you for joining us today on the Reignite Resilience podcast. We hope you had some aha moments and learned a few new real-life ideas to fuel the flames of passion. Please subscribe on your favorite streaming platform, like or download your favorite episodes, and of course, share with your friends and family. We look forward to seeing you again next time on Reignite Resilience.